حسين 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 يا حسين حسين يا حسين حسين يا حسين حسين يا حسين حسين يا
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Welcome all of you brothers and sisters in the 10th episode of the story of Karbala. In this episode we'll be talking about the peak of the events happened in Karbala. The death of Imam Hussain, and before that the death of his youngest child Abdullah, the infant. After Imam Hussain faced with the death of his brother Abbas, who was the last one of his army to die, he went back to the camp crying, and then the army of the enemy started fighting him and attacking his tents, and he attacked them back, defending himself and his family. And he was saying both to state that he is defending the Islam and defending himself for that purpose. There were so many fights between Imam Hussain and the army. He came back to rest in the camp. His sister Zainab brought his son Abdullah, the infant, who was about 6 months of age, telling him that the child was so thirsty, did not have anything for days, and even the milk coming from his mother is not anymore because she's so thirsty. And she asked him if he can ask for some water for this child. Imam Hussain came walking to the battlefield, which was not usual in that day. He usually either coming riding a horse or a camel. Hamid ibn Muslim, who was in the enemy army, he says that we thought Imam Hussain was bringing a holy Quran to ask in the name of the Quran to stop the battle or to ask God to punish them. But rather, he came with something covered with a white silky cloth. When he took it out and raised it above his head, it was a child. Imam Hussain was stating to the army that this is a child, infant, he's not fighting you, and he's so thirsty, almost dying from thirst. Can you give him something to drink? And then the conflict starts between the army. Some they start saying, give him some water to drink. The other says no. The governor of Kufa, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, said that all the members of this family should be killed. And once this conflict starts, Umar ibn Sa'd was afraid this might start a fight between the two parties in the army. So he asked for Harmal ibn Kahil al-Asadi. And when he came, he asked him, end this conflict. And he was replying, how? He told him, kill the child. And he told him, how? He said, just to throw an arrow toward him and kill him. He says, where do you want me to put the arrow? He says, in his neck. Didn't you see how it looks like? Like a neck from silver? Harmal ibn Kahil al-Asadi did it and threw the arrow. The arrow came and cut the throat of the child from one side to the other side. When the child felt the arrow, he took his hands and arms and hugged his father and was moving and vibrating like a bird. Imam Hussain took his blood and threw it toward the sky. Can you imagine the situation that your child, that whom you love, in your lap, dying, and not only just dying like this, dying by cutting his throat from one side to the other, in your lap, and you were looking at him. This is the feeling of Imam Hussain when his child was killed in his lap. And this was an infant, did not even have anything to fight. Imam Hussain felt so sad and sorry for this. He took the child back to the camp and tried to find a place beside one of the tents and dig a grave for this child to bury in. And his sister Zainab came and talked to him, told him, you did not do this for any of the other people, Abbas, Ali, and the others. Why this child? He told her, there is something I wouldn't like to tell you. And she asked him and insisted on that. He told her that after our death, they will ask the horses to run over our bodies. And the body of this child is so small, will not be able to tolerate this thing. And Zainab started crying even more after knowing that. Imam Hussain went back to the battlefield and started fighting them. He was so thirsty. He started fighting and attacking the people who were guarding the river, where 4,000 soldiers guarding the river. He was able then, after a fight, to reach to the river and went in with his horse inside the river. When Imam Hussain went and felt the coolness of the river and also the horse, what happened? Imam Hussain, after feeling of this, the horse was so thirsty, and Imam Hussain talked to him, you started drinking, then I will drink after you. When Imam Hussain was about to drink, then somebody called him from the enemy army, you are drinking the water and your camp is being attacked right now. Imam Hussain immediately threw the water from his hand, did not drink even a single drop of water, and immediately went back to his camp. And when he arrived, he saw the camp was not attacked, and he knew then it was a trick from the army to not let him drink any water. And then again the fight started again. Imam Hussain, after some time, became tired, and he was standing with his horse in the middle of the battlefield to try to have some rest. While he was in the top of his horse, Abu al-Hutuf al-Ju'fi, threw him with a stone, came in his forehead, and then started bleeding. Imam Hussain tried to stop the bleeding by covering with one cloth. Second cloth could not be enough. Then he took the lower part of his cloth, the thobe, trying to stop the bleeding. When he did this, his chest was exposed. Then Harmala threw his second arrow, and this arrow, when it came, it was having 3 heads, and not only this, it was even poisoned. When the arrow came, it hit Imam Hussain in his abdomen and in the liver. When the Imam Hussain received the arrow, he was so much in pain. He tried to take the arrow out. He could not do it from front. Then he bent like if he's praying, and it pushed the arrow to the back so he can take it out. The arrow did came out, but with part of his liver. Then he started bleeding like a hose, and then he could not hold himself on the horse. He fell down from the horse to the ground, and the horse tried to help him to stand. He could not. Imam Hussain then became unconscious for some time. The army did not know what to do. They did not know if Imam Hussain is now dead or alive. Then they asked Umar ibn Sa'ad, the leader, what to do. He says, attack the camp. If he's alive, he will stand up and defend his camp and his family. And then they did attack the camp. Zainab, at that moment of time when she felt this, she ran to a small hill just beside the camp. And then she started calling for Imam Hussain. If you are alive, come and help us. We have been attacked by the army of the enemy. If you are dead, we are all in front of God, and He is the one shall take care of us. Imam Hussain, when he heard his sister's voice, he tried to stand up. He did it and walked for a few steps and collapsed again on the ground. Then stand up, walk for a few steps and then collapsed. He did it 3 times. Finally, he could not stand up, could not move. That was in the middle of a summer, was very hot, just in the early afternoon. He was on the sand, which was very hot, and then he did not find anything to rest on. He made a pillow for himself from the sand, and then was not able to sit or stand. The people in that time of the army did not know what to do. Then Umar ibn Sa'ad, the leader of the army, with his people around him, came near to him, and he asked the people, try to arrest him, i.e. he is asking them to kill him. At this moment of time, many people try to come and kill him. Every time somebody come and Imam Hussain look at him, then he feel frightened and he leave him. At that moment of time, Imam Hussain was so thirsty, he asked for some water for himself to drink. Nobody even tried to bring him a drop of water. At that moment of time, Zainab came toward him, and Imam Hussain was asking her not to come. She did come. At that moment of time, she looked at Umar ibn Sa'ad, told him, you are looking at Imam Hussain while he was killed and you do nothing? He started crying and took his face to the other side, trying to hide it. Then Shimr ibn Dil-Jawshan, the one who has big role in pushing Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad to kill Imam Hussain, he took his sword to kill Imam Hussain, but he did not even took the sword. He changed his shoes to a shoe made of steel. Why? Because this will be very hot. When the heel made of steel, he went on and stepped on the body of Imam Hussain while he was on the ground. Not only this, he then sat on his chest and held his beard with his hand and trying to kill him. Then Imam Hussain talked to him. He was so angry. He did not even did only this. He flipped Imam Hussain on his face while he was wounded, injured, bled so much, could not defend himself. Put him in his face, sitting on his back, and then holding with his sword. Did not kill him with one hit. He was meaning to be very mean to him and torturing him. He was hitting his neck one after the other. He hit him 12 times and then separated the head of Imam Hussain from his body and raised the head. At that moment of time, the whole universe changed. The sky started raining blood. Very black winds start, and then Gabriel was calling between the sky and the earth that the Imam, the son of the Imam, the father of the Imams, was killed. And the people thought will be the end of the world, because Allah was almost destroying everybody. Not only this, the army started saying Allahu Akbar for killing of Imam Hussain, and they put him the head on very long and steel of a column of steel. This is how what happened to Imam Hussain. He ended his life paying it for the price to keep Islam on the ground, to reinvent Islam back to life for his God, Allah, and for the Muslim to be a Muslims, defending and paying the price, his life and the life of his beloved people. Can you imagine the Imam, who should be the leader of this people, the leader of this universe, is be killed? And killed by whom? The worst people on earth, Shimr ibn al-Jawshan al-Dababi, who killed him in the worst way, torturing him in this bad way. When Imam Hussain was killed, nobody was feeling sorry for him. Nobody tried to defend him. Everybody trying to defend him was already killed. Zainab at that moment of time was hit so hard by Shimr before the killing of Imam Hussain. When she wake up, she saw the head of her brother, the beloved Imam, holded by Shimr ibn al-Jawshan and separated from his body. Can you imagine the situation? How is it? How this is happening? It was so sad and bad that even the sky start raining blood, and all stones in Urushalim and in Mecca, when it was moved, they found the blood under the stones. This is the tragedy of Karbala. This is how Imam Hussain ended his life for his beloved religion and God, paying it to keep this religion as it is, as his grandfather wanted the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to be continued. Not just a shell, but with a life spirit that continued on and on. And what we are having today is a reward of what Imam Hussain did. If anybody think this is the end of Imam Hussain, he is mistaken. And you shall see in the next episodes how Imam Hussain planned his battle and how he was successful and reaching his voice through the generations and through time. And until now, we still celebrate Karbala every day of 10th of Moharram every year to keep this story alive. See you then in the next episodes of A Story of Karbala. Salam to all of you brothers.